Hi, everyone, and welcome to the week of healing. Today we have a special guest with us, Joshua Robbins, the astrologer, Kabbalistic astrologer. And today you're going to give us some tips how we can be above the zodiac signs to cleave ourselves with healing. Please let me welcome Joshua Robbins.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be here again. This is going to be, listen, I'll be honest with you, going to be, there's so much opportunity, there's so much light in this week, but there's going to be some intensity this week, especially in the area of relationships. Earlier this year, the Pluto entered into Aquarius for the first time in 250 years. And he's been hanging out in this sign, creating a lot of change, a lot of upheaval in the energy of Aquarius in our lives. What is going to happen this week is for the first time in 250 years, the sun will enter into Leo, the sign that he governs, and he will go head to head with Pluto in Aquarius. Every time we deal with and this is called an opposition. Every time we deal with the energy of an opposition in astrology, we're dealing with two differing desires, two different energies pulling in two different directions. Where does this opposing energy normally show up in our lives? In relationships, right? One partner wants one thing, the other partner wants another thing, and the two desires begin to clash, right? And what's interesting is that in this week, this Pluto energy is, if you remember the last time we spoke, the idea of change. This Pluto energy is demanding change, that there needs to be something within our lives that must continue to evolve, that must continue to change. The solar energy, the sun in Leo, is very similar to what we talked about last week with the sun, with the Taurus energy, the need to keep things the same, the need to keep things as they are. So there's going to be this sort of push and pull between the need to do something differently, the need to change something, and also the need to feel consistency and in control. The other energy that will show up is this is an energy of power dynamics. Okay, who calls the shots, who makes the decisions, who's in control, right? And when you put Pluto in Aquarius up against the sun in Leo, there's not a lot of give, there's not a lot of desire to budge on one partner wants it this way and the other partner wants it another way. So what's likely to happen within this opposing energy is someone's ego is going to take a big hit. Someone's ego is going to feel crushed, okay? And when we get to that moment...
So what are we supposed to do, Joshua? It sounds like very harsh.
Listen, it's always right, as we learn in Kabbalah.
No one wants to get the heat, we don't like it.
We have the greatest darkness, we have the greatest light. And listen, I'm not saying it's going to be the worst thing. It's not going to be, earth shattering. It could just be a very simple situation. I want it this way. No, I want it this way. No. Well, you and okay. So what do? First thing is we have to understand that our ego is not us. We have to understand that the ego is a mask, and it is much, much better if the ego takes the hit than for our soul to take the hit. The fact, when the ego takes the hit, our soul shines, our soul turns on. And what's interesting is that almost at the same time, when the sun makes this opposition to Pluto, the moon will swoop in and join Pluto. And so it's going to add some intensity, but once she leaves the alignment with Pluto, she makes a really, really beautiful alignment between Jupiter and Venus. This means that the opportunity for, we could say reconciliation, but really it needs to go beyond that. There needs to be a much more honest and open and positive discourse that we enter into in our relationships, whether this is, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in marriage or romantic relationships. It can be a relationship with a parent, it can be a relationship with a close friend, but something where there's two people wanting opposite things. Okay.
So what you're
But-
saying, actually, let me see, just, let's see if we got it. So when it happened and the clash happened with whomever, I have a relationship with, it means I need to think it's not, the other person. It's like Pluto right now try to push me to a change and try to tell me something. So instead of me now, like, blaming the other person or take all my, rage or whatever the other person, I need to take a step back in my mind and say, just a second, wow, what I just heard from Joshua that Pluto, he's there to push me to change. So what I need to do in that moment, right? This is something like what you're saying?
Embrace the change, and don't let the pain of the ego taking it. Because listen, is it painful when our ego takes a hit? Of course it is. It's not exactly pleasant when the ego takes a hit, okay? But the soul is shining. So it's good, exactly like you said, not to blame the other person, but rather to say, this is from the light. This is from the creator. This is awakening me to something that I must proactively confront, proactively deal with in this relationship so that we can heal something within that relationship.
Actually, we can say that the cosmos next week, in the time of Pinchas, is he want to help us, or he helping us to heal ourselves from whatever blockage we have in our ego. So he shines, all the light shines on that place. Like Pluto shines on that place, and I have the blockage for me to remove. And that's the way of me healing my relationship with the creator, with the light, with the person, with between me and myself, even, right? That is, so it's a big opportunity to jump in that week, actually. Wow.
Exactly.
It's painful, but it's powerful. Like,
it's painful, but it's almost like, wouldn't you rather, I always hear some teachers say, listen, you can either, I think it was Karen Berg that would say this, you can either pay now with a discount or you can pay later with a penalty, right? So what meaning that if we allow the ego to take the hit and we bring ourselves to a place of humility and we acknowledge that this is from the light, it's for a purpose, let me look within to see what I need to change, how I can operate differently, rather than staying so rigid in my ego mindset, then it's uncomfortable, but it wouldn't be as, for some folks out there who maybe don't study Kabbalah and who don't have this consciousness, they won't be able to navigate this necessarily as easily, and it could, God forbid, result in some negative consequences later down the road. And so it's much better to embrace this process of crushing the ego, reducing the ego, and from that place, being open to talking and expressing ourselves vulnerably and honestly with the other person. Okay. So that second component is also really, really important to facilitating the healing process. The discussions and the maybe proactive confronting of the situation to find a resolution. And so that can also help us to
that's
bring
amazing.
to our soul and of course to our relationships.
Yeah, I think that's amazing that we can use that tool of astrology to have that understanding, even we don't maybe get it in that moment, because when it hits you, you don't remember now astrology and everything, but
Right, it's hard.
I can prepare myself before to know that what there is, and it's kind of like put me in a place like of like even like be ready, and certain degree, but it's another powerful tool, and I think each one of us can use it, and especially in the week of healing, because we all want healing. We want to heal our relationship. We want to have a physical healing, spiritual healing, love healing, and everywhere. So I think it's very, very powerful point that we can take into consideration and just pay attention to understand, like, the universe is never against us. Everything is to help us and to support us. So once again, I want to really thank you, Joshua, for that amazing and beautiful tip. And if whoever wants to have a private session with Joshua, I will put the link in the description. You can directly contact Joshua and have a private session with him. And I wish all of us good luck, to pay attention and to be above the zodiac sign. Until the next time, Thank you, Joshua. And I
My
hope we
pleasure.
can do and pay attention to everything the tips you've given us, and we can be above the stars. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.